Hey Krishna Chinmay Vrajapriya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilasini Devidasi from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much, Uma Mataji, for that very beautiful recitation of the Bhagavad Gita. And thank you, Chinmay Mataji, for your warm welcoming. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for all the services you do, encouraging each one of us in this platform, giving us opportunities to serve Srila Prabhupada. So we are very grateful to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol Mataji.
Hare Krishna Chinmay Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to all the assembled devotees on the call. This is Harita from Texas, Mataji, and all glories to your services, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Harita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for all the wonderful services you do. Really like the way you conduct the greeting sessions, and when you ask questions, it's really nice, Mataji. So, and welcome, Mataji, to today's call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
We have a couple more minutes. Will anybody like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Sunil from India.
Hare Krishna Sunil Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for all the wonderful services you do, both in the morning session and in the mid-morning session. And welcome, Prabhu. Welcome to today's call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Chinmay Vrajapriya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Garanga ki jai. This is Shivani from Asheville, Virginia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for all the services you do, always being present in our sessions and listening so attentively. Thank you, Mataji, and welcome to today's call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Neetu Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for joining each and every day and being there for us. Welcome to today's call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. It's 11 o'clock, but Prabhuji is not at here. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome once again to our Bhakti Sangha mid-morning session. And today we are continuing our Caitanya Bhagavata series. Let me read Srila Prabhupada quote for today, and then we will wait for Prabhuji. The quote for today is, there are 4 classes of men: lazy intelligent, busy intelligent, lazy fool, and busy fool. First class man is lazy intelligent. Busy fool is very dangerous. Such a grave, deep instruction. So much we can analyze from this. But this is quoted by His Divine Grace at Hawaii on January 19th, 1974. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Govardhan Giri Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your precious time and being here with us to talk about the most beautiful Supreme Lord and glorify Him for us. And today, Prabhuji will be talking on Caitanya Bhagavata Antya khanda, 5th chapter from texts 210 to 221. Please take over, Prabhuji. We are eagerly waiting to hear from you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Satyanam Sevanarottamam. Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tado Jayamudire. Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangam Langhayate Girim Yatrupatamaham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam. Paramananda Madhavam Sri Caitanya Iswaram. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामे नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So today we are reading from the Caitanya Bhagavata Antya khanda, chapter 5, the pastimes of Nityananda, right? It is 5 to 10. So this is the pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu as discussed by Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavata. The previous portion is where Maharaja Prataparudra is finally getting to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and from 2:10 onwards we'll read now. Nilachale janmila yate ka anuchara sabe chinilena nija pranera ishvara. All the Lord's associates who appeared in Nilachala gradually recognized the Lord of their life. Text 2:11. Sri Pradyumna Mishra Krishna Premera Sagara Atma Pada Yandre Dila Sri Gaura Sundara. Sri Pradyumna Mishra was an ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna. Sri Gaura Sundar personally gave him shelter at his lotus feet. Paramananda Mahapatra Mahashaya Yandra Tanu Sri Chaitanya Bhakti Rasamaya. The body of Paramananda Mahapatra Mahashaya was filled with the mellows of devotional service to Lord Chaitanya. You know, these are all personalities who are in Nilachala and who are the parshads of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Because when we look at it, no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's second part of his life he spent in Jagannath Puri, especially that room Gambhira. You know, this is Kashi Mishra's house. You know, and that is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed during his time in Jagannath Puri. And therefore, Jagannath Puri has, let us say, a very, very important role, and it has a lot of significance for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas because of the amount of time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent in Jagannath Puri. And when you visit these places where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed and where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was associating with these devotees in Jagannath Puri, that was, I mean, those places, they evoke a sense of the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you can actually feel the deep connect Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had with Jagannath Puri in general and with the deities of Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra in Jagannath Puri temple. So for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, this Jagannath Puri is a very, very important place for the simple reason that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent so much of time there. and associated with people and engaged in so many conversations there. So, two types of followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can say. Broadly, we can divide is one is the grihasthas and the other is the renunciants. Two types of followers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had. And point to be noted is that both type of followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, both of them were engaged in preaching. Nityananda Prabhu was the leader of the Grihastha followers of Sri Chaitanya. And they were more into this door-to-door preaching, reaching out to everybody. Whereas if you look at the renunciants, like the Goswamis, they were actually preparing the groundwork of the Gaudiya philosophy, all the canonical works, they took it upon themselves to do that and present the philosophy for all the future generations. So when we look at it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very clear plan, very clear roadmap as to how this preaching will move forward in the years and the centuries to come. Of course, he is the Supreme Lord, so his roadmap, his plan, the way he envisioned it, everything is perfect. It cannot be anything less than perfect because he is the Supreme Lord himself. Just that he employs everybody. And he himself acts as one of the employees. That is the best part of the Leela. Like when he says, I am the lonely, I am the sole gardener, and how many fruits can I pluck and how many fruits can I distribute? So all of you come. All of you pluck and all of you distribute this fruit of Krishna Prema. So that is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all his followers were also sharing that mood, but they manifest it in different ways. That's something we have to understand. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood manifesting through his followers in different ways. Like I said, Nityananda Prabhu and the others, other grihasthas, they were all going door to door, doing Nagar Sankirtan and sharing Hare Krishna Mantra, whereas the Shat Goswamis were sitting and writing and writing and writing. Somebody was sitting and reading and reading and reading the Srimad Bhagavatam like that. So two types of associates, two types of activities, but the aim is one. And what is that aim? The aim is to spread Krishna consciousness. The aim is to share Krishna with everyone. So that is how these associates are described in Chaitanya Bhagavat as well as in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now here Vrindavan Das Thakur is speaking about Pradyumna Mishra. Pradyumna Mishra is originally again from Gauda Desha, but he had moved to Utkala Desha. That means from Bengal. He was originally from Shillett, that is in today's Bangladesh. And he had moved from there to Utkal Desh, that is Odisha. So that is by the, what can you say, the divine arrangement of the Lord that Pradyumna Mishra came to Odisha, came to Jagannath Puri, and started associating with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the extent that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Pradyumna Mishra is one of the branches of Sri Chaitanya. One of the branches of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, the tree, the Chaitanya tree, one of the branches Pradyumna Mishra. This same Pradyumna Mishra is the one who goes to Ramananda Rai to hear Krishna Katha. because a Harikatha is something that is very attractive to the devotee. So therefore, one day, Pradyumna Mishra comes to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the desire of hearing Krishna Katha. So, what you call it? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him that I am actually not qualified to speak that which you are desiring to hear, because you want to hear the pastimes of Radha Krishna. I cannot speak. So he said, you go to Ramananda Rai and you can hear Harikatha from him. So then this Pradyumna Mishra, this is a very famous incident. Pradyumna Mishra goes to Ramananda Rai's house and he'll find that he is massaging two Devadasis, who are performing for Lord Jagannath, and this is the state of the consciousness of Ramananda Rai, that he is not agitated even by such a service of having some close contact with women, because he is completely engaged in that service as the service to Lord Jagannath. So therefore, Pradyumna Mishra is introduced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to that elevated devotee called Ramananda Rai, and makes him understand that how advanced Ramananda Rai is. So through this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is establishing that you can have an elevated consciousness, the highest level of consciousness, the purest level of consciousness, irrespective of your varna and your asana. Is it not? It is not necessary that you have to be situated in a particular varna or a particular asrama or a particular body to be completely detached and to be completely attached to Krishna and to have completely conquered your senses in every possible way. Ramananda Rai is a highly placed government servant. He is not a Brahmana. But Mahaprabhu, in Mahaprabhu's Leela, we see that he is one of the most exalted Parshadas of Mahaprabhu, to the extent that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discussed the highest levels of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy with Ramananda Rai only. The actual face-to-face discussion happens between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. And Pradyumna Mishra also is getting trained or hearing from Ramananda Rai. And also it's very important to note that Pradyumna Mishra is a Brahmana and Ramananda Rai is not a Brahmana. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking this Brahmana, so now you must understand the societal situation in those days, we are talking about 500 odd years prior to what it is now. So even at that time, this Varna classifications and the differentiations were very pronounced in the society in those days, even more pronounced than it is today. And therefore, for a Brahmana to approach somebody who is not a Brahmana and to hear from him, that would be very extraordinary for somebody who is looking at it or observing it from the outside. But within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's system, this was very much acceptable because the other person is more exalted, because as per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's own words, Jai Krishna Tattvavitta Se Guru Hai. Somebody who has understood Krishna Tattva, somebody who has mastered the intricacies of Krishna Tattva can be only Guru. So that mastering Krishna Tattva, to understand it, to realize it, that happens irrespective of Varna, Ashrama, Sharira, etc., etc., etc. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by doing this, he is exhibiting this. This is a very subtle thing that we observe in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, that he discusses, if you see, he discusses all this very high philosophy, especially Krishna Prema level of philosophy with Ramananda. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, the other aspect of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy and teaching is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is the backbone of this entire philosophy, is it not? The Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, especially the way that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And for that, he entrusted that to this Namacharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself called him the Nama Acharya, Srila Haridas Thakur, who is actually, in those days, everybody knows that he is born in a Mohammedan family. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very clearly showing it. What is written in the scripture, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, he practically exhibited that through all these great personalities. That somebody born in a Mohammedan family, he is our Nama Acharya. And as far as we are concerned, what is our primary and most important sadhana is Nama only, correct? Nama Japa, Nama Kirtana, Nama Smarana, that is primary activity for all of us, correct? So that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made Haridas Thakur to speak about the Nama Tattva more than anybody else. And about the Prema Tattva, Ramananda Raya spoke. And both these discussions took place in Jagannath Puri. That's why I said we have a very deep connect with Jagannath Puri. All Gaudiyas, we have a very deep connect with Jagannath Puri. More than the Odiyas, they have Jagannath. The Gaudiyas, they have both Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have like a double jackpot. When we visit Jagannath Puri, we can see Lord in temple. We can also see Lord, the place where Lord stayed and lived. The same Lord who stays inside the temple lived as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu outside the temple in Gambhira. So you can actually feel the presence of Lord here, the presence of Lord here, two places. And we can also feel the presence of all these great Parshadas of the Lord who spent time with him in Jagannath Puri, because these are people with whom Lord interacted daily. People coming from Navadvip, Lord's interaction would be limited only during the Rath Yatra time, and then the 4 months when it is over, they will all return back to Navadvip and the other places. Navadvip, various sites people used to come. So all of them had only that limited interaction. But these personalities, like Swarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Rai, Pradyumna Misra, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, his family members. So they all had more regular interaction with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is different from the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of Navadvip. There he is more Nimai Pandit, then got married, then Grihastha, but he had already started that movement of Harinam Sankirtan. This public Sankirtan movement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated in Navadvip. Then when he moved to Jagannath Puri, he discussed philosophy, Bhagavatam. Very interestingly, every day's discussion subject for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his Parshads were always Srimad Bhagavatam. So, again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu setting the the foundation stone for all the people who would follow all the anugas of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. This is the two primary things we must do. Nama, and along with Nama, we should also approach the Srimad Bhagavatam, study the Srimad Bhagavatam, discuss the Srimad Bhagavatam with like-minded devotees. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing. And those discussions can be, depending on our levels of realization, those discussions can be at whatever level they need to be. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. This is how Pradyumna Mishra was associating with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly and indirectly teaching. Not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches directly, rather him teaching directly is very little. He instructed directly a few people only. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, like that. Not that everybody will go in, sit in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu would give them a class and give them instruction, not like that. No, he would direct them to various different people. Like among the Goswamis, Raghunath Das Goswami spent a lot of time in Jagannath Puri, but he was under the tutelage of Swarup Damodar Goswami. But among the Goswamis, we can see that he spent a lot of time in the proximity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa and Sanatana, although they are foremost disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their association is very limited. So one can be a foremost associate, one can be a foremost follower of the previous Acharya by having very limited physical contact or proximity also. That's also possible. That also we understand from these personalities. Not to say that all these personalities were very close with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, they didn't do anything, and only those people who were far away, they did many things. Not like that. What I mean to say is that the quantity association is not what matters. The quality of our association, that is, what I mean to say is that not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's quality of association given to Rupa and Sanatana are more than the quality of association given to the Parshas in Puri. No, not like that. As ordinary people, when we take the association of sadhus, the quality of our hearing, our observation, and our following, that's what matters. If that is our very poor quality, then that will reflect in our spiritual life. We may be very close proximity to a great personality, a great Vaishnava on a very regular basis, and we may not show any progress. That is only because it is not a reflection on that personality with whom we are associating. It is simply a reflection on our own negligent way of association. Understand? So when we read and when we hear about these personalities and how they are internalizing these lessons of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and how they are acting, that's very important for us to understand. Because everybody is getting the same instruction only. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not instruct something secret to somebody and something open to somebody. You are a general public, so this is for you. You need to do only this. And you are somebody special, so you need to do this differently. No. Everybody got the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everybody got the same instruction, Jare Dekho Tare Kaha Krishna Upadesh. Correct. So Nityananda Prabhu took it and he went to Gauda Desha and he established it there. Rupa and Sanatana Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have to prepare the philosophy. You have to go and re-establish all the Lupta Tirthas, all those places which are forgotten. You have to do it. So they did that. Then he said, you have to also present the philosophy like this. So he gave them personal training. Mahaprabhu taught them personally. And based on that teachings they received, the tutelage they received from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they prepared and they did their duty. Nityananda Prabhu and others, they did their duty because they were told that you go and preach, you go and make people chant Hare Krishna. On the other hand, the others are preparing the philosophy, expositions of the Bhagavatam, of the Tattva, of what is rasa, what is vidhi, everything. What have they not given? They have given everything. They have given very comprehensively. There cannot be more comprehensive philosophy than what Srila Rupa Goswami has given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That's like the canonical work for the Gaudiyas. So he has given that. In fact, our own Vedanta Sutra Bhashya came after this only. Only when we were questioned as a school, only then Baladev Vidyabhushan had to write that. Until then, nobody questioned. So it was not given also. It was not considered. Otherwise, if Jiva Goswami can write so much, can he not also, could he not have written, Bhashya for Vedanta Sutra? That would have been left hand's play for Jiva Goswami. He is such a prolific philosopher, writer, or Rupa Goswami for that. Not that they did not know. So everyone has got, we see all these great personalities, the Goswamis, and then the next level of acharyas who came after them. Everybody has this wonderful part to play in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. During his manifest presence and after his departure, both. Because it's not that everything, it's like doomsday after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, disappeared from our vision. Nothing like that. It is never like that. It is never like that. The torch is always passed on to the next generation, to the empowered personalities. And they sit and they go through the grind and they do it. They present the philosophy. They expound it, they explain it, and then they smash arguments. Everything they do, through writing. And we get it when we hear it, when we read it. And that becomes our shield to maintain our faith. Because we are not Jiva Goswami or Srila Rupa Goswami to sit and expound this philosophy and defend the parampara or something. We don't have that kind of ability. But we require this so that we can stay safe within the precincts of our philosophy. And in order to strengthen our own conviction about this philosophy, we need to hear, read, understand, assimilate, and then practice it. Otherwise, we will also become some kind of ritualistic, Sooner or later, if we don't give any importance to the philosophy, sooner or later our chanting Hare Krishna also will become like a ritual. It will become like a ritual, then somebody will question it, and then we will not be able to defend it, and then we will lose it. So that is the importance of constantly hearing and learning is for that only, not that we are doing something great to defend the parampara and this. this whole parampara depends on me. I am the sole defender, and if I don't study this and if I don't fight with everybody else, nothing like that. We just need to fight with our own lack of conviction. For that, we need to empower ourselves with these teachings. That is how you have to do it. काशी मिश्रा परम विह्वल कृष्ण रसे अपने रहिल प्रभु यानर आवसे. Kashi Mishra was greatly overwhelmed in the mellows of love for Krishna. The Lord personally stayed in his house. So Kashi Mishra is probably, we can say, the most fortunate person in this whole earth, because Mahaprabhu stayed 24 years in his house. Nobody can claim that, right? Gambira is Kashi Mishra's, where Mahaprabhu stayed. The small room that we see, that is where Mahaprabhu stayed. So two things. One is that he gave a great opportunity for a grihastha to serve him. And we also see that Mahaprabhu, as a renunciant, how he was. So when we see Gambira, we will know what is renounced life. Many times we have many misconceptions about renounced life. And then we think this is renunciation, that is renunciation, like that. But when you actually want to see proper renunciation, you can see it. Mahaprabhu himself teaches us proper renunciation by his own acharan. How he lived in that Gambhira. When you see that Gambhira, you will know. This is how renunciate should be. Because he is the Supreme Lord, everything he does will be only the topmost class. Uttama, he will be topmost always. He will be most perfect, most complete. Everything. Incomparable, he will be. So as a yati, he is incomparable. Why? Because as a prema bhajana, he was incomparable as Krishna. Is it not? And then when we say Krishna is perfect in renunciation, many people will wonder. So those who know about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not have that wondering, because they know that as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the perfect deity. He is the perfect renunciant. To the extent that Mahaprabhu said that even if I will not even look at a doll in the shape of a woman, a wooden doll, I will not look. That is how strict he was, and that is a standard that he presented, and by rejecting Chota Haridas and making him, he gave up his life, and Mahaprabhu did not, say anything about it, actually. And actually, Chota Haridas was not a fallen person. That's the best part of it. Just because he spoke to one Mataji who was actually a great devotee. So Mahaprabhu said, I am a sannyasi, you are traveling with me, or you are always around me as a brahmachari. You should not have done it. Left him no choice but to commit suicide. These are all very intrinsic parts of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. So he is Mahavadanyaya. He is greatly merciful. He is greatly merciful in terms of giving this to everyone. But he is perfect in another sense, in another way, as a yati, as a renunciant. How he should be. That is why he gave so much. This Pradabrudra, King Pradabrudra had to wait for so much time. He had to really hanker for that association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu said, no, I actually don't want to have anything to do with the Vishayis. And you are a king means you are the topmost Vishayi. Grihasthas themselves are Vishayis. So Mahaprabhu would keep connection with Grihasthas only to a very, very limited, very limited. But for the king, Mahaprabhu said, like you are, King means king of Vishaya only. King means always he is engaged in Vishaya, means matters related to the material world. That is what a king does. Day in and day out from morning till night, that is his job. His job description itself is like that. So Mahaprabhu said, there is, it is very, very dangerous for my sannyas to even have a very little bit association with you. He scolded everyone. He said that why are you people intent on breaking my sannyas vows? That I should interact with this man. Although Mahaprabhu is all knowing, he is the Supreme Lord, he is Paramatma, he knows what a great devotee Prataparudra is. But then he had to establish it to show that, a renunciant has no business with the Vishayi. Is it not? So we must understand that all these associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whether he is a sannyasi, brahmachari or grihastha, they were all maintaining the highest standards of spiritual practices. Of course, Mahaprabhu is very, very, very merciful, freely giving this Hare Krishna Mahamantra to everyone, distributing Krishna Prema, and very mercifully engaging everybody in service. So we see, Lord Ramachandra and Lord Ramachandra's Leela, we see that Lord is accepting service of the monkeys, the squirrels, the Jambavan who is a bear. You name it, everybody is offering service. In all types of bodies, they were offering service. And Lord Rama was accepting. In Chaitanya Leela, we will find that, all the most varied backgrounds of people, Mahaprabhu is utilizing all of them. One is a Muslim, his two most important disciples were ostracized Hindus who were considered to be Muslims because they were taking money from a Muslim and serving under him. You look at it. You see Nityananda Prabhu, who is actually a Brahmana, born as a Brahmana, but he became an Avaduta. And practically nobody has an idea whether he's actually a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. Nobody knows. He's like no rule applied to me. That kind of a person. And then he had Gadadhar Pandit and Srivas Pandit, very strict householders. Advaita Acharya, a greatly principled Brahmana who knew Veda, Vedanta. So look at all the spectrum of the Parshads of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu you will find. The next generation also you will find a spectrum of wonderful devotees. Once again showing that this is not the, what you call, this is not some familial, what you call, holding that is held within the family, and then we just give it from one generation to the next. Nothing like that. Pure devotion, Shuddha Bhakti, is the right of everyone. We say no fundamental right, the right to live, the right to eat. So like that, actually, the most fundamental right of the Atma is Shuddha Bhakti. Pure devotion
Let's wait for Prabhuji to join. I think so. He has left because of network issues.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I just lost my net connection. I'm sorry.
No problem, Prabhuji. Now we can hear you.
Yeah. Connecting from the phone. So. All right, so that was Kashi Mishra, and then Hey Mata Prabhu Sarva Bhritya Kari Sange Niravadi Gwanayana Sankirtana Range. In this way, the Lord and all his servants constantly enjoyed pastimes of Sankirtan. Yata Yata Udasina Sri Chaitanya Dasa Sabe Karilena Sri Nila Chalevasa. All the renounced servants of Lord Chaitanya gradually came and took up residence in Nilachal. Those who lived at home and served Sriman Mahaprabhu were the Lord's householder devotees. And those who had the opportunity to live and constantly hear topics of Supreme Lord and the Lord's holy abode, after having severed household ties, became indifferent to their house and family members and went to reside in Nilachal with Sri Chaitanya Dev. That is why those who at present have the opportunity to retire from family life live in a temple to constantly serve Sri Chaitanya Deva. Nityananda Prabhuvara Parama Uddhama Sarva Nilachale Brahme Mahajyotirdhama. Nityananda Prabhu was most independent and effulgent. He wandered all over Nilachala. Niravadi Parananda Rase Unmatta Lakhite na Pare Keha Abhignata Tattva. He was always intoxicated by the mellows of transcendental ecstasy. No one could understand his incomprehensible glories. Sadai Japena Nama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Swapne O Nahika Nityananda Mukhe. He constantly chanted the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Even in his dream, he would not speak anything else. Sri Nityananda Prabhu constantly chanted the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Lord Krishna personally appeared as Lord Chaitanya. And this form of Lord Chaitanya is meant to revive the spiritual consciousness of people who are averse to Krishna by preaching the teachings of Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu did not speak any word other than Sri Chaitanya, either while awake or asleep. Yena Ramachandre Lakshmanera Ratimati Sai Mata Nityera Nitayera Sri Chaitanyera Priti. Nitai's love for Lord Chaitanya was like the love and attachment Lakshmana had for Ramachandra. That's a very great example. Nityananda Prasade se Sakala Samsara Adhyapiha Gaya Sri Chaitanya Avatara. By the mercy of Lord Nityananda, the entire world is now singing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. So, these are the few verses that Vrindavan Das Thakur is using to glorify Lord Nityananda and also how close his association, how close his relationship with Lord Chaitanya is. To the extent that it is the greatest comparison we can say, saying that Nityananda Prabhu had love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the same way Lakshmana loved Lord Ramachandra. Lord Lakshmana loved Lord Ramachandra. Because when we read Valmiki Ramayana, we understand this wonderful relationship between Lord Ramachandra and Lord Lakshmana. It is something that needs to be heard to be relished. So deep is their brotherly love for one another, And Valmiki presents it so beautifully. so poetically, how Lakshmana speaks to Lord Ramachandra, how much Lakshmana's love for Lord Rama is that, to the extent that he will tell Lord Rama when he comes to know that Dasharatha has asked Rama to go to the forest, then Lakshmana will say that, now my sword shall speak. I will sever the head of that old man, because he has lost his determination. He has become distracted. He does not know what he is doing, because he is completely surrendered to a woman. And he will say that it is nothing wrong, nothing adharmic about killing such a man, even if he is father. To that extent, his love for Lord Ramachandra, that one particular chapter where this conversation between Lord Ramachandra and Lord Lakshmana, that is to be read, to be relished. So here, saying that Nitai's love for Chaitanya is like that, Throughout Ram Leela, we will see that Lakshmana is never separated from Lord Ramachandra. And Lord Rama also doesn't like to be separated from Lakshmana at all. Practically like shadow, because after all, he is Ananta Shesha. So therefore, he will always be like the shadow of the Lord. Here, similarly, Lord Nityananda, here they have a slightly different equation, in the sense that they are more playful. They have, a more casual, loving relationship, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Because that is the general mood of Chaitanya Leela itself is like that. So therefore, that kind of mood is there. But the extent of love they exhibit for one another is the same. The transcendental mellow that is between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, that is very similar to what we can see between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Same thing we can see there. So this is where it stops. I think I'm supposed to read till 2:20. So I stop here. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the very, very nice class. It was very insightful. I liked how you were mentioning about the two kinds of devotees with two kinds of services in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's entourage. The sannyasi, whether you're a sannyasi or a grasta, how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would deal with them and give them equal importance. How the Goswamis were doing the literature while the grastas were going out and preaching. And then very nice with Ramananda Rai, he chose to discuss Prema, but with Haridas Thakur, he made him in charge of Nama. That was also very nice. And our Jagannath Puri is very, very special. How you highlighted that it is extra special for Gaudiyas, because you have both Jagannath inside and the Jagannath outside, who's Lord Chaitanya, and also about how this was interesting, Prabhu. You mentioned Raghunath Das Goswami had maximum personal association with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while Rupa Sanatan, they did not have so much association, but they were given a lot of responsibility. When you were talking about that, I was a little curious to know about Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. What is mentioned about his association with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And is there any...
Again, very little. Very little.
Prabhu?
Very little.
Very little.
Very little association. Yeah.
And what was his main service that Mahaprabhu assigned to him, Prabhu?
Well, Raghunath Das Goswami only I am aware of. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, I will have to refer and get back to you on that. Raghunath Das Goswami was constantly studying Srimad Bhagavatam with Swarup Damodar Goswami and Gadadhar Pandit.
Jai. Yeah. But he was also Puri Vasa. He was also in Puri only.
he spent a lot of time because why Raghunath Das Goswami, right from childhood, he wanted to be in the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was tested time and time again, and he couldn't actually get out of the house and reach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No. So finally, when he reached, then Mahaprabhu gave him, let him stay for a long time in Puri.
And Bhatta Goswami also Puri only.
He
Raghunath
stayed
Bhatta.
sometime in Puri, and then he also went to Vrindavan.
Vrindavan. Nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Very, very nice class. Thank you. Hari Bol. Dear devotees, we'll open up the forum for question and answers. Sunil Prabhu, he has a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very beautiful class. Prabhuji, you have mentioned that even after an association of great souls, and if there is still no progress, it is due to negligence. Prabhu, could you elaborate like exactly what negligence?
Negligence means, when we hear instructions, there are two ways of hearing instruction. We can hear instruction through one ear and allow it to pass out through the other ear. And we can hear an instruction and let it go to our heart. Most of the time what happens is that we let the instruction enter through one ear, and most of it is lost out through the other ear. Some of it goes to the heart. When nothing goes to the heart, there is no change. When very little goes to the heart, there is very little change. So our progress is directly proportionate to the amount we allow the instruction to enter into our heart. Because our heart is already full with so many non-Krishna related things, or things totally unrelated to Krishna, things other than Krishna, things related to this material world. But these instructions are, all the instructions that we receive from the Vaishnavas, the Acharyas, are meant to sever our connections with this material world, right? So, although we hear, because of our tying, our being tied up to this material world, those issues, those matters are still given so much importance by us that we cannot allow these instructions to take effect. You understand? So therefore, because we think, oh, now if I start completely following like this, what will happen to this and these things in my life? So therefore, we ourselves, we hear the instruction, but we say, okay, keep it, we will do this afterwards, we will do that afterwards, like that. So therefore, there is no, what you call, progress. But once we make up our mind that, yes, now I'm going to completely implement it, then automatically there will be great progress. This is what I meant. I hope it's
So,
clear.
Prabhuji, so just hearing the lectures is not used without implementing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one example one Prabhupada disciple gave me was, what is the exact meaning of hearing? He was explaining to me. He said, like, when you tell your child, come here, what do you expect? You expect your child to, he's say in the next room, when you tell him come here, what is the effect of him hearing your instruction is to come to you, right? If it doesn't come, you will say, why aren't you listening to me, right? That is what we do, is it not? So, similarly, we get an instruction. If we don't implement it, that means it's as good as not hearing it, or hearing and not giving importance to it, right? So we will be chastising whoever is our junior that why are you not applying my instruction? I told you to come here. Why have you not come? Is it not? That's our reaction. Why? Because they are not following. Hearing means to follow, actually. If you're not following, that means you're not hearing. Simple.
Prabhuji, thank you so much. But sometimes the instructions are so high, Prabhu. We are not at that level. At least I am not at that level, Prabhu.
No, that's why I said when we hear, we don't allow them to enter into our heart, because our heart, inside our heart, there are other things which we at this moment consider, right now I cannot, overstep these things. So we will just keep it in abeyance. We will say, okay, we will do this later, we will do this later. Like that. I already told that, due to our circumstances, that is how we deal with things. So whether that's the right way to do it or not is for each individual to assess. It is not the one solution for everyone. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else has any questions or comments for Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very wonderful session. I don't have any question as such, but really, class was very nice. Thank you so much for your association.
Thank you.
So, Dakar Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. It's just I was trying to contemplate on your clarification you give it to Sunil Prabhuji. I also had this doubt. If you could like to clarify further, like the Supreme Lord is all divine, right? So all powerful. Well, so anything related to him is equally powerful, right? So the soul, which is conditioned by this material, as we learn from the Bhagavad Gita, it's of a relatively inferior energy of the Lord Krishna. Okay, so when the soul or his thought or any in sadhana is coming in contact with the divine form for a short duration or for a little duration, so the power of the divine should supersede this Maya. No, so that's not happening, right? When I'm just not trying to correct, but I had this doubt. But I asked some question. Suppose yes, I am weak. I don't have that strength. But God has all divine power, everything there. So when that one fraction or 1 millisecond of that touch can change, it should change, right? From the material perspective. I'm not saying it is from spiritual. So why it is not happening for all the jivas, like you said, negligence? Yes, though he's associated physically with Lord Prabhu, not only mentally, but it should be some effect, right? This is some doubt I have. If you can elaborate on that.
In this connection, Srila Prabhupada would say, this is Prabhupada's famous words. Prabhupada says that you can become perfectly Krishna consciousness in one moment, or you can remain without being Krishna conscious for millions of births. So the key here is Prabhupada using the word can, you can be Krishna conscious, perfectly Krishna conscious in a moment, or you can be without Krishna consciousness for millions of births. So the can means something, it is within your purview of doing things. When we speak about the Atma, the Baddhatma, the conditioned soul, he has got that infinitesimal independence to choose. So this effectiveness, not effective, the Lord's supreme strength versus Maya, all these things are contingent upon this conditioned living entity exercising his independence. Whether we choose Krishna or whether we choose Maya. In that independence, Krishna does not interfere. We must understand that. Because the Supreme Lord is our friend, well-wisher, benefactor. He is by no means a dictator. So therefore, he will not dictate you that choose me over Maya. No. That he leaves to us. That is why even at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, are your doubts dispelled now? He didn't tell Arjuna that I have cleared all your doubts. Now you do what I ask you to do. He didn't tell that. He said, if your doubts are dispelled, now you can act, based on your knowledge, you can act. So, making it very clear that Krishna wants us to use our intelligence given by Krishna to serve him. But we have to choose that. Krishna will not do that choosing for us. We have to choose. As simple as that. Definitely Maya does not stand a chance in front of Krishna. There is no doubt about that. That Krishna's power is supreme, there is no doubt about that. Krishna's power will supersede Maya's influence, there is no doubt about that. But it all depends on what and how we choose. It's as simple as that. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, just want to add, Prabhuji, you said no, we have to choose, but what to do? We are accustomed, Prabhu. Like I have my conditioning. I don't even want to choose Krishna. So what to do? How do I get this strength, Prabhu? Like you said, Krishna will not interfere. He will not do anything if I don't want him.
The more we associate with those who have chosen Krishna, we will draw strength from them. We will draw inspiration from them. When we see somebody who is completely surrendered to Krishna, immediately we will not also surrender to Krishna. But Krishna is sending all these people across to us so that we become inspired to follow them. That is why this sadhu sangha is very, very important. Simply through sadhu sangha, we will achieve it. Okay?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Praladananda Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very excellent discourse you gave us. I had little reflection here regarding the question which was asked. When Dhruv Maharaj determined to please Lord Shri Krishna, Narad Muni tested him. He was telling him that you are a small boy, you should not like that. And that's where Dhruv Maharaj told Narad Muni that, my stepmother spoke such sharp words that my heart is punctured, and all your instruction cannot remain in my heart. That's where Narad Muni became pleased with him and gave him the real, way to go to Madhuvan like that. So it's finally it's our own determination, whether I really want to give this sincere dedication to get myself into the service of Lord Shri Krishna, or hoti hai chalti hai, as we say in Hindi. So if we have that kind of thing, that probably will be very slow and kind of not very helpful. That's what I just wanted to share, and that's what many of us many a time but Narad Muni has also said that tyaktva sudurlam, even if we fall down during the apakva stage, still Lord Krishna is going to be merciful to all of us, provided we thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So if there are no other questions, thoughts, or comments, we can end the call here. Thank you, Prabhuji, again for such a beautiful class and wonderful discussion. Vancha kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Shri Jai. His Grace Govardhan Giri Prabhuji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to all the